insecure about losing?
Every time we go to election, we must feel insecure, or you'll sit back and believe that the votes will come.
I think the PAP has very little to be insecure about. It's got the quality candidates, it's got a really great track record. You know, it has shown every Singaporean can see for themselves what the PAP has done. Yeah. So is it really necessary to impose restrictions on political blogging, on podcasts?
No. Political blogging and podcasts, why do we stop it? We think that an election should not be something you package. You're selling the candidate as a product.
Isn't that what PAP is doing too?
No.
Why don't you let voters decide?
A podcast is not a face-to-face conference. If you were writing an article, you wouldn't today, we would have had this exchange, right? You write a long piece and I write a letter to the press and we ding-dong. But because we are face-to-face, I pointed out to you that what you made, your first statement, you spoke to over 100 students. No, I can't let you get by, you know. It was a misrepresentation of the facts. Then you say, I interviewed 40. Then I said, how many who were afraid? None.
Ma'am, why can't you use the same forum and rebut then? I mean, why can't you, someone blogs, why can't you blog back and let voters decide?
I think the reason why they're doing this is because they do not have any other platform.
And I think the reason, to add on to that, I think it's not just important in itself to have these blogs and things, but the implications they have for building a civil society. Granted, we lack that. And the mindset in Singapore seems to be such that, oh, I'll mind my own business, make my money, and leave the politics to the politicians. And in that sense, the implications are scary for nation building. When you talk about nation building, because you have people who have this sentiment, they do not really care about the core of the nation, which is who governs my country. People, my friends have told me, you know, I'm going to the votes for the first time, but why vote? I know who's going to win anyway. So when people do not care about who, or having a voice in who governs the country, how can then you build a sentiment that bonds them emotionally to the nation, to build a nation, to give them a sense of emotional connection, engagement with the country?
No, you're putting a thesis which I find completely unfounded. You mean to tell me that what's happening in Thailand or in the Philippines is bonding the people into a nation or dividing them?
To put it another way, maybe, bearing in mind the unlevel playing field, bearing in mind the numerous walkovers, all the restrictions regarding podcasts and etc., how does a PAP win, when it happens, signal a strong mandate for the party?
The very fact that we are not challenged is a pretty strong mandate. Why have they not challenged me for the last 3 elections? I'm old. I'm not so active as before, but I'm still fairly effective, right? And my ground knows that I'm effective. Why do they know that? Because they see me. They see their lives improve. I've got an organization on the ground that makes sure that they are attended. And I make sure that I got people who are looking after them. So my not being challenged in 3 successive elections is not because I have no mandate, it's because nobody believes they're likely to win.
So,
let me finish it. So I'm taking in this time 3 new candidates. One of them will be a potential minister. I would welcome a contest. But if there's no contest, let me tell you that he will turn out to be like another Kobun one. In 4.5 years, he will prove himself. And then Kobun one goes to Sembawang, and everybody knows he can deliver.
Sir Lee, but I believe that the lack of competition is due to a lack of level playing field. Singapore always believe in fair competition, right? So where does this fair competition comes in the elections itself?
You know, I was told by D.N. Pritt, he was a communist MP. I brought him out here to defend some socialist club students for treason. And he said, the capitalists are most unfair. So every time election comes, he finds all the halls already booked. And in England, it's cold. In winter, you can't have an open-air meeting. So the Conservatives and the Labour Party would have blocked out all the halls. So they got to use tiny little rooms. And all the media was blocked by either pro-Labour owners or pro-Conservative owners, and they only had the Daily Worker with a small circulation. There is no fair playing field between political parties. It's as simple as that. I came in, first election, PAP, we won 3 seats, plus 1 independent who joined us, 4. Was it fair? I had the whole media against me. Straits Times, Cao Bao, not Cao Bao, Nanyang Xiangbao, Xingzhou Zhibao. Why am I so strong against the media? Because they tried to put us down. They twisted everything I said, that I was a communist, when they knew I wasn't. So I told them in 1959, during the election campaign, as they were gunning for me, I said, when I win, I will show you how you have to behave yourself.
But Mr. Lee, you said that at that point of time...
No, the media is not setting the agenda for Singapore. If you want to set the agenda, you must put your stakes in and say, come out. You are not setting the agenda surreptitiously, creating this issue, creating that issue. Any misdeed, any misdoing by any officer, any government, bring it out. That's how you keep the government clean, right? But you are not settling the agenda. I will not allow the foreign media to set the agenda. So every misrepresentation, we have a reply.
So there's an assumption that...
Just a moment. So you can say whatever you like in your newspapers, but please remember there'll be a reply, and there'll be a robust reply.
So there's an assumption that the party that knows the best and is the cleverest is the government.
No. For the time being, the best candidates are in the PAP.
Are you not worried, though, given the political apathy that we're seeing, especially among the young? I think there's really two groups of young...
How can you talk about political apathy?
There's really 2 groups of young people.
You are so agitated by it all,
but
there's no apathy.
But that's us. And for every one of us, there's 10 more out there who don't know. I've seen people who are in polytechnics and universities, they don't know who their prime minister is. They don't know who you are.
And they don't find it important to
know. And they
that's
really don't care. So, given the situation, aren't you afraid that this will impact your party's renewal chances in the long run, say 10, 20, 30 years down the road?
You assume that politics is about elections and election contests. I do not see politics that way. If you look up a dictionary, I think the best definition of politics is one I found in an American dictionary, which said, the art or science of government or governance of a country and how it runs its internal and external relations. Now, that's a very abstract concept. Translated in real life, it means, how is my life affected by the government? Do I have a job? Do I have a home? Do I have medicine when I need it? Do I have enough recreational facilities? Is there a future for my children? Will they be educated? Will there be a chance to advance yourself? If you do not have any of these things, you're going to find agitation. You have no recollection of this because you were not born. But in the 1950s and the 1960s, Singapore was in a state of agitation every day. You look up your old Straits Times and Xingzhou Zhibao, even our archives. Look at the riots. the go-slows, the strikes. Why? No homes. Half the children were not in schools. 14% unemployment and underemployment. Pirate taxi drivers. No job. So I take a car, pay no license, no insurance. You take your chances, come in, I give you a ride. 50 cents, 20 cents, and so on. Hawkers all over the place. Today, over 40 years, we have transformed it because assiduously we attended to the politics of life. That's what it's about. What is the future? Can you, if I can have another political party, you can have another political party to look after you the way the PAP has, I say, my job is done, finished. I can go home and sit back and read the books I want to read.
So how long do you think Singapore can survive without the PAP in power?
Once the PAP goes soft, it will be displaced.
How long?
I hope it never happens, but if it happens, it'll be displaced.
Just tell you what is your yardstick for measuring what is a quality candidate, and why do you say that the opposition has no quality candidates?
If you can't answer that, you are in the International Chamber of Commerce?
Singapore International Chamber of Commerce.
If you don't know what a quality person is...
But what is your definition of a quality candidate?
It's obvious. You just look at our candidates and you see competence, integrity.
Are they your first choice candidates? Are they the best that you can get, or are they the second tier after the first choice has refused to enter politics?
They're the best that you could find. Some of the first tier accepted. Some says, no, not this time. I've got growing up children. And if they come out and contest...
So when would you think of stepping back and retiring, not contesting another election?
我们为您送上香气四溢、好到吮手指的美食到府上。